nice little time at the river up at the lake, you know, sitting around a bonfire. But we got people working double shifts so they can pay for an apartment that they only sleep in. You know, I realized some time ago that uh, that motel or hotel that you're paying $100 or more for one night to stay in isn't even very clean. Take a black light in next time. Take a heater. Put the iron on the bed and bug bed bugs, all sorts of gross things. There's all sorts of things that are happening in these motels and hotels that you probably don't want to be in all the time, right? So I realized that if I bought a van and I did my traveling in a van, wherever I'm at, I could just take a nap, right? And that was really handy. And I was using my favorite blankets, and I had all my favorite things in this van. And really, the van um, wasn't that much smaller than a lot of these apartments, right? And so that was an option that I recognized. I was like, oh, hey, that's a good idea. I like that. I'm going to do that for me, right? Because now I see that as an option in the way that I could live sometimes. You know, sometimes I like to live out here in the desert, just uh, parked under the stars. You know, I mean, sometimes I like to be over the ocean, listening to the waves crash all night long. So anyway, this is how we get to dictatorship, but we localize it down to the individual. This is how we become a sovereign being living on this planet. This is how we become uh, healthy and happy and peaceful and abundant. We have to realize this culture is inverted and perverted everything that is good and right. Almost everything that we're doing in our world today doesn't make sense if you ask a few questions, right? How is it that we have so much money to spend on war, but yet we can't help the poor? How is it that religions that are pathways to God divide people and cause wars? How is it that corporations and industries that didn't exist 200 years ago are suddenly necessary every time a new virus or toxicity is experienced in a body, right? It's actually pretty super to be human. These bodies are so capable of doing so many things. Yet I know people who are only been here maybe 10 or 20 years, and they're suffering from their inability to even push their own body weight off the ground, right? We're watching generations consume fat food. It's fast food, right? At the drive-through, because you're busy doing everything just to try to struggle and to exist. But there is another way, and another way is peaceful. And another way, there's health and happiness and abundance. We have so many elements that are in abundance around us right now. But so much is being thrown away because people don't have space to create. But yet, most of our population have brought themselves into cities where it's very expensive to live. Water falls out of the sky, or with a small investment, it can be pumped from the ground. Energy is blowing past us all the time, right? Radiation from the sun for solar systems, wind for turbines. There's a lot of there's a lot of ways to do things that just haven't been advertised to you because it doesn't make anybody any money. When you invest in yourself, you remove your dependency from corporations. When you invest in yourself and your family and your friends, you build local networks, right? And that's where people thrive. When we work together voluntarily, only supporting good ideas, each respecting the free will of others, right? My free will ends where your free will begins. Free will is actually the first law. The very first law that we would ever have made as man coming in contact with man is, hey, don't force me to do stuff and I won't force you to do stuff. But if I have an idea, or you have an idea, and it's shared, and we voluntarily help each other do it, we can accomplish a lot more than what we would by ourselves. Right? It just makes sense. I get a lot more done when I have somebody else helping me. You know, maybe they're even a harder worker than I am, so it's motivating me to do more, right? And that's how we inspire each other. You know, we shouldn't be jealous because somebody is better at something than us. Maybe they're just more practiced. But when we look to grow, see, that's what I believe God to be is. God is the not a person, place, or thing, but rather the creative force behind everything. And when you align with growth and oneness and a divine accordance with others, that's what we start to see grow in the world around us, right? People say the polarity is of seeing everything working for you instead of working against you. Because, like, if you're seeing all things as negative, that would be the polarity of God. Think about that. What if God was a unifying energy because we all came from that? And I'm not saying that God looks any one way because the stick is every bit an aspect of God as I am. I mean, I would have wore out more than the stick did if I had tried to use my fingers. So it was a very useful tool. But the stick isn't very talkative, and so I'm a useful tool to share the message the stick can't. Right? We're living in a world where we're going to have to make some decisions pretty quickly. When we make these decisions in fear, they can go into a way that maybe we're not going to want to experience. Because when you give your attention and energy to fear, it spirals, it grows, it can become all encompassing. When we give our love, our attention, our energy to the ideas that honor freedom, that honor respect, that exhibit love, that's what spirals. It grows. It becomes all encompassing. We've been lied to on a lot of ways from our in this culture that we live in. We've been taught things and manipulated in ways that have promoted a small number of people to become very powerful. But it's been only our belief in authority that allows that to persist. When we reduce who we're willing to bow down to, right? I don't bow down. We're all equal. I don't want you to bow to me, and I won't bow to you. But I will meet you eye to eye and willing to discuss solutions to problems that we face, how we implement a peaceful revolution. It'll benefit everyone, everywhere, because we shift our energy locally first to the things that we can control, locally, all the way down to the individual. I call it becoming heavily meditated by being aware of my breath, being aware of what I want to create in my life right now. And when I'm creating the things in my life that I want to see for me right now, I become inspiring to other people who say, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That used to just be a chunk of desert, wasteland out there, and now you got some food growing and, some pretty cool little features installed, and, you can see that you've been creating things that you want to see. And maybe what I'm doing isn't what everybody wants to see. But that gives you an opportunity to do that, to be that. Be you the full, right? Who are you? Right? Are you your name? Are you your title at work? Or are you an expression of consciousness that has gotten wrapped up into a system based in control and manipulation, focused on things that don't matter? What do you want to see in the world? What is it that you see as a problem, and how creatively can you solve that? Do you have the courage to stand up and say, hey, everybody, we're going the wrong way on something. Can we turn this bus around? That's what I want to see. Because I don't know all the solutions to all the problems, right? I mean, you only know what you know when you know it, or what? How'd that go? There's things that you don't even know that you don't know until you know them. And although I might know a little about a lot of things, it's unlikely that I'll ever know everything about anything. But I trust. I trust that just because I don't know it, that you don't, right? Or that you do, right? Maybe that is your specialty. That's what you just love to do, right? And you probably have the answers to the problem that I presented that I don't yet know how to solve. Some of the problems that I've sought the solutions for are I wanted to be able to help people with health, happiness, peace, and abundance. And I found that meditation, awareness of the right now moment, and awareness of when you have power to do these things is the most important thing right now. And when we do that, we have to trust that your decisions, your intentions and actions are going to align with what you want to create. And that's how that happens. It takes a thought, and then it takes action towards achieving the vision of that thought. We can't rely on somebody somewhere else to do it for us, or that we'll be able to ask the right permissions from somebody to make it happen. We do it. We do it right now. When we know that that is the solution, and you've checked with all of the other specialists in this field on the planet, right? And it comes to a logical solution to a problem, we implement it. So, anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching, hanging out, and um, yeah. So we build a revolution, by supporting good ideas instead of just what we've been supporting for so long. When we do new things, we achieve new results.